Hello and welcome to tonight's stream. So, in case you've been living under a rock, things are still hot in Minneapolis with ICE activity and Antifa and the far left rioting and protesting. And of course, Trump not doing anything at all because, he's still under Netanyahu's boot, being Israel's simp. But we're going to take a look with the runes to see, if this is going to have any sort of like repercussions down the line. Of course, there are, but what exactly, why isn't Trump invoking the Insurrection Act? Because he could have done so like a dozen times by now. What's going to happen to Tim Waltz and all the Somali fraudsters there. And will we see, this have a huge impact on the election this year? Because we are in an election year. We'll see if it actually usurps the Republicans' power or if it stays the same. But the way it's looking, the Republicans' power is, they've already fucked up enough. This administration, even though the far left wants to call them fascists, Nazis, and a dictatorship, they haven't really been acting like a dictatorship. They've just been acting like big fucking babies. But we're going to review some posts here. So I'm going to get them ready on my side before we get started here. Alrighty. We have this huge post from Trump. I mean, it is two fucking posts here. From Trump, and I think I'm going to read this second one. This is why I hereby call Governor Waltz, Mayor Freya, and every Democrat governor and mayor in the United States of America to formally cooperate with the Trump administration to enforce our nation's laws. Yeah, good luck with that. You're not doing shit. Rather than resist and stoke the flames of division, chaos, and violence. Number one, Governor Waltz and Mayor Freya should turn over all criminal illegal aliens that are currently incarcerated in their state prisons and jails to federal authorities, along with all illegal criminals with a active warrant or known criminal history for immediate deportation. They should have done this first and foremost, but because Governor Waltz and Freya are simps for the illegal immigrants that, they hate you. I made a post on X earlier saying that the feds hate you. Okay, Trump being, the Fed here. And then the illegal immigrants, they hate you because they don't give a shit enough to respect our laws or, respect the people here. Number two, state and local law enforcement must agree to turn over all illegal aliens arrested by local police. Well, the local police, they're simping for Antifa. And by the way, Trump did label Antifa as a terrorist organization, but is he doing anything? No, he's not. Number three, local police must assist federal law enforcement in apprehending and detaining illegal aliens who are wanted for crimes. Democrat politicians must partner with the federal government to protect American citizens in the rapid movement of all criminal illegal aliens in our country. Some Democrats in places like Memphis, Tennessee, and Washington, D.C. had done so, resulting in safer streets for all. In addition, I'm hereby calling on the United States Congress to immediately pass legislation to end sanctuary cities which is the root cause of all these problems. Well, this is kind of turning into, what it was in 2020 when all these riots were going on. Trump could have done something, but he never did anything. Yeah. And then he's going on to say all these requests are rooted in common sense. Well, you got to remember, the far left, they don't deal in common sense. And we're going to take a look at some of this shit. I'm going to make sure my volume is good. Yeah, they're stalking people that they believe to be ICE, even though they aren't ICE. They are harassing people.
We are not ICE. We're not ICE. We're not ICE.
I'm showing my face. I'm not ICE.
We've come to you. We're not ICE.
Normal fucking people in a black SUV.
Yeah, they've been following us for over an hour. We're not ICE. We're just letting them know, and they.
Not in a nice vehicle, right?
No.
Right.
Right. Get in your truck and get the fuck out.
Why?
Because you need to go. Confirmed ICE. Get the fuck
not
out.
Confirmed ICE through who? We're American citizens. We're not ICE.
These are the people that you're abducting. Get out.
Why are you filming us?
Please go.
Because they've been following us for over an hour.
They got a stalker problem, that's for sure. Let me check the comments section. Yeah, it's all a stage. Enjoy the show. Yes, exactly. Oh, good evening, Swamp Sacks. Yes, hello. Remember to like and share the stream.
Where are you from?
They're asking for papers.
Did you come in that car right there?
Yeah, this truck. And they're saying we're popping up in an ICE database.
Well, then you're in it.
We're not ICE.
What's the database?
Get the fuck out of here, then.
Do we look like ICE? No.
No ice. Nothing on me. Prove it.
We're not ICE.
I don't have no weapons.
Let me see your IDs of where you are.
Yeah, what the
No,
fuck?
they've been following us. That's why we got out and confronted them.
Great.
You think that's okay?
Yeah. 100%.
Okay.
The far left may be winning this thing, but all these interactions, this is just like a battle of optics. ICE is looking bad, the feds are looking bad, and then the left is definitely looking bad, asking for papers when you don't even have the right to ask for papers. What does a driver's license gotta say about if you're, a fed or not? And then apparently there have been leaked signal chats and showing connections to Governor Walz, and then, his family and other people within the state of Minnesota. So there is some pushback against this. And then, with these signal chats, they have government officials, anarchists, Antifa, gang members, journalists, coordinating and attacking ICE agents across the country. And they're saying RICO charges, but apparently nobody's funding these signal chats, so it's going to be difficult to do that. But they can most definitely get some of these people that are doing this, if they actually had the balls to do something about it, which they don't. This is just going to turn into more fuckery down the line, but, we're going to pull up the runes here and find out for sure. This Cam Higbee is doing really good work. He's the one that is going into these signal groups. And then Dr. Carlin, if you were not watching her channel, she does live streams, and she talks about the far left. She used to be a liberal wanker, and then she was in the walk away movement, and she walked away like in 2018, I think. But she does a lot of deep dives on how the far left thinks, how the socialist communists talking points, their language, how to understand their language. She is very educational and well read on the whole thing. And I still have to watch some of her videos on it, but it has really been eye-opening. So the whole thing about, the far left being funded is not true. A lot of these people are just self-funding. They are printing their own signs, because the old cope on the right is that, these are all paid protesters. They're all paid protesters and with different outlets. No, not so much. And then she also posted this. The anti-ICE protesters hate the Democrats just as much as they hate Republicans. These are revolutionary socialists, not Democrats, not liberals, socialists. And I'm just saying far left to, distinct, who they are, because random Democrats, random liberals are getting sucked into this right now.
With the Trump administration literally at war against our people in Minnesota, we're at an important crossroads in this country. And it's essential in this moment that we don't allow ourselves to be misled down the wrong path. After the horrific execution of Alex Pretty by immigration agents, Democrats in the Senate announced that they will not be supporting a funding bill that is set to give ICE an additional $10 billion. The Democrats can read the room, right? They understand that people across the country are fed up with Trump's war on Minnesota and Trump's war on immigrants. But at the same time, we cannot let the Democratic Party off the hook for...
Yeah, they're still using the language of just immigrant and not illegal immigrant. They can't make a distinction between those who break the law and those immigrants that come to the United States and follow the immigration policies. Pay for immigration attorneys, follow the rule of the law, and to come to America legally. They'd rather support people that just think that Americans are weak, naive, and stupid. A lot of these far leftists that are protesting ICE right now, they are protesting for people that hate them. They hate them. They may not be saying it to their face right now, but if you can actually use your intuition, read the energy of these people, these illegal immigrants, they hate you. Don't forget that. The Fed hates you, but then these illegal immigrants hate you too. So that's kind of why I'm always on this rant where I'm saying my politics are like Treebeard's. Fangorn in Lord of the Rings, where in the movie he says, side, I'm on nobody's side because nobody's on my side, little orc. And that is how I feel right now. The Fed, they're not on my side, no matter who is in office, who controls what's going on. They're not on my side. These far leftists, these socialists, they want to bring in Muslims by the droves. And, Muslims, are they friendly to pagans? No. They want to, allow in cartel members. I don't have to tell you that cartel members are dangerous. I mean, I grew up in Texas and I heard horror stories. Even just being a girl in Austin, you would still hear stories of, don't go across the border. And that started like in the early 2000s. It's like, before that, yeah, you could go across the border. But, after like 2000, they were saying, don't go across the border because even the police in Mexico will rob you. It was that fucked up. So anyway, we'll finish watching this.
For laying the groundwork for today's crisis. ICE has existed since 2003. And in the years since, it has been a bipartisan project to fund and expand ICE. On top of that, Democratic Party politicians on the local, state, and federal level have consistently been roadblocks in the fight to demand justice for victims of police brutality. In 2020, we had a huge movement against police brutality after the murders of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and so many others. And just 2 years after that movement, the Democrats in Congress voted to increase federal spending to law enforcement after doing nothing to root out the racism and brutality that undergirds law enforcement in this country. So,
by the way, when he's talking about racism, with the far left, what I'm learning from Dr. Carlin, this lady right here, you need to watch her channel. They associate racism not so much as skin color, but as capitalism. Those who have a lot of money. And, those who support capitalism, it's racist. And it all works in together. All the buzzwords, racist, sexist, misogynist, it all works into, the whole socialist dogma.
ICE funding and skirting accountability for law enforcement has been a bipartisan project for years. How can we be surprised when we see what's happening in Minnesota? The Democratic Party is going to tell us that the solution to Trump's crisis is to put more Democrats in Congress in 2026. And we just can't fall for that trap. They have no solutions to our problems. In fact, they are part of the system that is creating our problems. On the other hand, the people of Minnesota showed us a path forward.
Okay, I've listened to enough of his ranting. And I want to answer some chats anyway. Because I see a very good one right here. Let me get over that. Okay, Cypher. My honest opinion. Fuck around, find out. If there are people that... cops and ICE, they will find out an aspect of border defense. It's not hard to obey laws. Yeah, exactly. But the whole thing with, there's a difference between city cops, sheriffs, and the fucking Fed. If you fuck around with feds, you're gonna find out. And a lot of these liberal city Democrat, state-run cops is that they're soft, but you get around a Fed, it's a different ballgame. They're gonna put their boot down, and they're gonna claim police brutality, but in reality, they're actually just interacting with a real cop for once, or real law enforcement. Where prior they just get off easy. Yeah, all the bullshit. But we are going to get into it. Let me just clip this right here. Sure, that looks goofy as hell, but what are you going to do? So, first and foremost, question for the runes, for the gods, for Odin, and All-Mother Frigga. Please help me with this. Why is Trump not invoking the Insurrection Act? Okay. Yara, we are looking at time here. It's been too long. This is where we are now. It's been too long. Trump should have done something, if he actually has something to do. Or it takes this seriously at all. In the Fehu position, money, how is money, influencing this entire situation? Because I'm always ranting about Netanyahu and the Zionist control over this administration. It's pretty prevalent. Okay, Gabo. We have Gabo here. With Gabo and Fehu, there's an exchange, an agreement of money going on. Perhaps, Trump's being told, don't do this because, you have to save money for something. In Uru's strength, we have Ingu's. Ingu's has to do with fertility, growth, fermentation, in strength. And Thurisaz. Now, Thurisaz is a masculine rune. It has to do with, war, with strength, aggressive, assertive behavior. Thurisaz. Pethro. Okay. That's interesting. There could be something else going on as to why Trump isn't invoking the Insurrection Act right now. perhaps he's being told, either by Netanyahu and the Zionist control apparatus, or he's being told by his, his advisors. Yes, young male vitality. Yes, exactly. That, there could be something else that you need to prepare for. That you need to save your energy for, or save the energy of our assets instead of invoking the Insurrection Act. There could be something that we are not aware of. Petro has to do with, the lockup, and it could just mean anything. And Freya's Aswynn's deck, you have a cornucopia here, and all the runes of the Elder Thufort coming out of the cornucopia. So it's just, a lockup of different possibilities that could be coming from the situation. And Ansu's dealing with the esoteric. Oh, Fehu. Fehu is coming up again. Yeah, hidden, not hidden necessarily. Maybe, yeah. With Fehu and Ansu's. There's something going on with the money in the situation. We had Gabo in with Fehu earlier as we're reviewing this against the the first et of the Elder Thufart. Ingva's was painted on the ships that stormed the beaches on D-Day, a huge sacrifice of young male vitality to build societies we've enjoyed for the past 100 years. Oh gosh, wow. I didn't know that. I'll have to look into that. Huh. That's interesting. And it changes a lot because there was a lot of witchcraft going on both sides of the war, with the Germans and with the English especially. So that's interesting. Okay. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. Rido, what's in Rido? Oh, Rido in Rido, things are going exactly as whoever is in control, really Trump or whoever, is wanting them to go. They, whoever they are, want this to happen. It's, kind of, it's giving me Palpatine vibes from Star Wars that everything is going according as I have foreseen. Okay, might sound silly, but I believe that George Lucas wrote Palpatine after he discovered quite a bit about Hollywood industry, because the Emperor was barely, mentioned in the first Star Wars movie. Second to, Empire Strikes Back, you actually see him. And then the third one, he's on screen. He's fleshed out. You actually see him for what he is. Yeah, okay, so in Kenos, what do we have for Kenos? Oh, Issa. So what they're learning hasn't changed. They already know. That's interesting. Because they're not acting upon what they know. Because Kenos has to do with what you know, your internal knowledge, your intelligence. Because we're talking about the government. Kenos would be the intelligence agencies. They already know. Issa is stagnation. Issa is nothing is changing. In Gabo, because we've already had Gabo in Fehu, we're going to look at Gabo, what runes pertain to it. Ewas. Okay, so the gift, the exchange, is communication, is the journey itself. And in Wunyo, how will this turn out? Well, what is influencing Trump not to invoke the Insurrection Act? Kenos. Okay. Kano's knowledge. In Kano's, in our reading already, we already had Issa. Okay, so why isn't Trump invoking the Insurrection Act? Well, Issa is just stagnation, indecision. You know, he's being fed a lot of knowledge. You know, and in Thurisos, we had Pethro. He's being fed a lot of knowledge. He doesn't know what to do. Indecision is not his friend in this situation. Kano is related to fire. Learn knowledge associated with Loki and Loki. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that especially with Loki. It's interesting that you bring up Loki, because that aspect of the trickster, you know, Trump has been tricked before. And paralysis by analysis, exactly. And Trump is a Gemini, and he is a quick thinker. Excuse me, a rune did drop below. Okay. Trump is a quick thinker, very analytical, being a Gemini. So analysis by paralysis, and paralysis by analysis. Yes, that's a very good analogy. I would think at this time, if Trump was going to act, he would have by now, but he just doesn't know what to do in this situation. So in Rido kind of thinking about that, he's just hoping things just work themselves out, but they are not going to work themselves out. Okay, so our next question for the runes is, what is going to be the outcome if nothing changes with how Trump is handling this, if ICE is not pulled out? Is Tim Waltz going to do anything? Okay, the runes have already answered. Gabo. Looking for answers. Equilibrium. The balance. Would things balance themselves out? We'll see. In Fehu, their first et of the other through fork, we have Kanas coming back to us. Kanos, and just in my mind, Kanos coming back, the fire with Fehu, you know, that knowledge of the entire, the fraud from the Somalians, that's not going to go away. I mean, that went into the billions. It's not going to go away. Let's see here. He is frozen in Issa by too much Kanos. Yes, exactly. He looks to Rido and the past for answers, but none reside there. Exactly. Yeah, things are never going to be the same. He had the opportunity to find out how something would happen during, 2020, the whole so-called Summer of Love. He had that opportunity, but he did not take it. And everybody, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps out with the algorithm. But in Uruz, what is going on with Uruz? The strength in this situation. Oh, Issa. So, the anger, the vitality, the energy of these protests is not going to change. If Trump doesn't change anything, it's not going to go away. Thurisos. Nothes. Okay, this is interesting. And this is one of my favorite runes for getting down to the issues of situations, because Nothes is the need rune. When I was taught by Freya Aswynn, she was very much, speaking of need, what you need to do right now, she would say. And in Thurisaz, yeah, there needs to be action. There needs to be some sort of masculine response. So there needs to be, an insurrection act of some sort. And I know the National Guard was called in by Waltz. I believe this was yesterday or today. But, yeah, masculinity is needed in this situation because the way Waltz is handling things is in a very feminine way. He's taking the side of the illegal immigrants that are taking advantage of the system. And that is suicidal empathy. Now I said suicidal, so it's gonna hurt the algorithm. Whatever. And Ansus. Oh, Thurisaz. So, this is interesting. In the whole spiritual sense of this issue, they are, I almost want to say it, and I'm going to do the entire reading, but I'm going to blurt it out right now because, my intuition's just coming out, is that this is going to change the map of Minnesota forever. Whether it's the demographics or it's the energy, it is going to change it forever. Because when Thurisaz comes, it's Mjolnir. It is that giant energy that just can't be ignored or put aside. It's like a nuclear bomb. Okay, righto. Oh, Pethro and Rido. Going upon this path is the unknown. And with that Thurisaz and Nothies there, it's just, it could be from any angle. But my intuition's not answering that question right now. Kenaz. Oh, Berkana. Okay. So some feminine energy when we've had some masculinity here. Very interesting. Maybe I know Pam Bondi, she's been really weak in this entire situation. Perhaps a female figure will come forward and provide better wisdom in this entire situation. Somebody that actually knows what they're doing, because not every woman in politics is going to be so weak-willed. There are going to be those that just absolutely don't fuck around. They're a leader, not a follower, and they're going to put their foot down. No strong worded letters. They're just going to go, this is what has to happen right now. Okay. In Gabo. Oh, Ansus. So in Ansus, we look back to where, who's in Ansus right now. We have Thurisaz. So the equilibrium will come, definitely a masculine position. And I know that Berkana's in this rune reading as well. But perhaps it's the wife of somebody that's more masculine that puts an end to this bullshit. That, says, you gotta do this right now. And the man actually does it. And Gabo. Not Gabo, but Wunyo. We have Dagas. And Dagas is actually one of my favorite runes. And I'm just gonna change the topic right quick. If you're overwhelmed when you're going to sleep, visualize Dagas in between your, on your third eye, in between your eyes as you're going to sleep. Visualize it, draw it over and over again until you finally calm down, when your mind is too active. And you could go to sleep within 5 minutes. I use it nearly every night. It is a great rune. So, but in terms of in Wunyo, Dagas, how does that impact how things will change if nothing changes in Trump's approach. He doesn't pull out ICE. And Walz doesn't really do anything. And things are going to change dramatically. You know, we've already seen that with Nothies here. The need for the change, Thurisaz, that kind of aggressive change, the violent change almost, that Minnesota is going to go under, because you gotta look at who voted for who in Minnesota. There were quite a few votes for Trump there. And Trump's voters are really disappointed in the way he handled things. So the way things happened in Minnesota, the locals, the ones that are not protesting, maybe just so fed up with it, or the way that things have progressed. You know, those may have protested when that woman was killed by that ICE agent a couple weeks ago. They may not be on board afterwards, because as I showed you earlier in the video, where random people are being pulled over by these protesters and being asked for their ID, well, that's going to stick with you. Because the entire COVID thing stuck with people for a long time. As far as, you know, being asked for papers, having the jab forced on them. So they're going to remember how they were treated by the far left. And they're not going to forget about it. The city is very fiercely divided right now. Oh, that's interesting. Good to hear. Because the way that the media portrays it, it's like, oh, they're all on board, the same thing. Yeah. Okay. So, I want to get an input from you all on the next reading regarding this topic. You know, either ICE, the protesters, Trump, or Walz. You get to pick the next reading, or the next question that I will ask the runes. So go ahead. And I'll just wait around for a moment. Have a sip. The good beer. Yeah, so maybe, oh, there's some people protesting in favor of ICE. I saw it on the news. That's good. Good to hear. Let's see here. Start a poll. Let's start a poll. Reading on. Or maybe let's see. Oh, I see. Protest. Will it lead to civil war in the state? Beer is good. I'm drinking peanut butter beer. Ooh, that sounds really good. Ooh, there's a beer, I can't even remember the brand, but it's like a dark chocolate stout. Who made it? I think it was like Rogue Ale or something, but it was really good. Oh, I haven't seen it around in years, but yeah. Oh, peanut butter beer. Oh, it's like a Reese's. That's what my mind. I don't eat peanut butter on the regular. Only when I eat a Reese's cup. Okay, well anyway, my mind off of peanut butter. Protest. Will it lead to civil war in the state? Protest in the state. The question we are asking, we're looking to the divine for this, because our last civil war was absolutely terrible. The Hawks are going to the Super Bowl? Oh boy. You know I'm in Washington State, right? I don't care for football. I'm going to change the topic for just a moment. Seymour. Because, the Seahawks, they took the 12th man from Texas A&M. And I'm originally from Texas, so football culture is really big in Texas. I mean, from high school, college, and pro, and everything else in between. It's like a second religion. It's just like you're either Baptist, or you're evangelical, or Catholic, and then your second religion is football. But I've always viewed the Seahawks as, they took that 12th man from Texas A&M, from the Aggies. I guess it's going to be very loud around here because, I'm not on the I-5 corridor anymore. When Seattle won their first, or that one Super Bowl like 10 years ago or 12 years ago, whenever it was, people went absolutely nuts with fireworks. Or whenever they scored a touchdown, they went absolutely nuts with fireworks. And I've got animals. But anyway, Civil War starting from Minnesota. Yeah, use the doggos, yes. Okay. So, will there be civil war? In Fehu. Isa. Okay, so money. You need money for war. Energy for war as well. It's kind of stagnant right now. That's kind of interesting. Although things could heat up, things could change, but in the here and the now, money is not involved. In Uruz, we have Gabo. So yeah, there's while there's no energy behind it to actually start a civil war or money, there's agreements, exchanges, in going back and forth, the anger. Gabo's is just not about gifts, but it's also about the exchange of energy. In Thurisaz. Now Thurisaz is the rune that we want to watch out for whenever we're talking about war, conflict, or aggression. Oh, Tiwaz. Oh, any court case that goes on. So say if those ICE agents that were involved in any one of the shootings in the past couple of weeks, the result of that could set off a small civil war or a larger one, or some sort of conflict that gets hot. In Onsus, Thurisaz appearing in Onsus for a second time. That aggression, the knowledge, and just the male authority figures causing the anger right now, whether it be Waltz or Trump. Righto. Dagas. Okay, so if things change with this Tiwaz, in the sense of justice, if there's a court case down the road, it's just going to change the trajectory of the rest of the reading, especially with that Isa and Fehu, that could, Isa's just 2 spaces away, in terms of lines upon the rune. If you look at them as all bind runes, Isa just needs to be heated up by Kanaz to become Fehu, to give it that extra energy. Okay, in Kanaz itself. Oh, Berkana appearing in Kanaz again. maybe these white liberal women, they really do stoke the flames. And I was actually out with my family earlier today. And we kind of drove into the country for a little bit. We got our snacks and our coffee, and we kind of had a little drive with our son. We've been cooped up with the cold. Okay. And we come back into town, and there are, on either side of the road, there are white liberal women holding up anti-ICE protest signs. And it's just, the useful idiots. They don't know that they're supporting people that hate them. So really, looking towards the liberal white women that are underscoring the entire thing. They're undermining it, not underscoring, undermining it. Okay, Gabo, because we already had Gabo in Uruz. Gabo, what rune? Oh, Othala. It's a nice rune. For Gabo, yes, the gift of home, of family, of ancestry. We could be looking towards, what happened prior with the Civil War, or with any other civil war that has involved our bloodlines prior. Not just, the American Civil War, but for those who, are European ancestors, we can look to them as well. But also finding, that strength in our family, in our kin, looking to them for strength. And, to build a strong community with those that we know and that we love. First and foremost, okay, in Wunyo, how will this turn out? The joy, the happiness. Rido. Okay, so Rido, we look at where Rido was originally in the reading. We have Dagas here. So really, the deciding factor is this Tiwas here. So be on the lookout for any sort of court case that comes out of this, whether it be with the ICE officers or with Waltz and Frey, the outcome, because right now, nothing's going to happen until the law, until justice, until Tyr shows up and starts saying, hey, what's going on? Things have to change, and if they don't change, I'm going to put my foot down. Okay, and then with the actual Thurisaz, the aggression, the anger is going to come out. But yeah, that was a good question. Thank you, Vidar. Alrighty. Okay, anybody else have any? I got time for one more reading here. Yes. Alhi's protection, Isa stagnation, Gabo gift, Tiwas justice, Thursas violence, Dagas day, Burkana femininity, Othala ancestry, Raido heritage, yes. They're all professional activists, militants connected to La Raza, highly trained, coordinated. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you're watching Dr. Karlin Poroshenko on Twitter or on YouTube, but she has like these spy streams where you can actually listen into the whole the leftists, the communists and their meetings and how they're organized. They're extremely organized, and they coordinate with each other, and they use all that that language, that communist bullshit language, to communicate with each other. So yeah, they're all professional activists, yeah, and professional agitators, and yeah, they're leading the useful idiots, especially the white liberal women, into all this bullshit. They don't know what they're doing. These poor white liberal women, they're naive. And, you know, I even see some witches getting involved with the dumbassery, and they're doing spells on ICE. Well, you're doing spells to undermine your safety and your security, because I understand, yes, the Fed, they hate us. But then the illegal immigrants, we're going to have more encounters with them than we are going to have with the Fed. We really don't want the United States to turn out like the United Kingdom. Yeah, she has a great, here, I'll go ahead and, you do have to be a supporter of her. Let's see here, I'm going to try to open this, and, I think, yeah, she's got, streams going on right now where she's covering these protests, and I've actually been binging watching her for the past week. I used to watch her like 5 years ago. And I stopped for whatever reason. But yeah, she's great. She's a great source of information on how the left is handling this and what they're doing. Yeah, because it doesn't look too good for the average American. Obviously, if the left, this far left, wins. But does anybody have any other questions for me or the runes? I'm gonna have another sip, and I don't have peanut butter beer. I stick with my old faithful here. I mean, maybe I should get a Guinness at some point, but this Big Ballard, I've been on a binge with it. Just it's been my one and only. Although I did take a break with a bottle of mead, this blackberry mead, that was really good. But yeah, there's this other beer with like an Aleister Crowley type figure on it. Like it's some sort of like hazy imperial IPA. And I can't remember the brewery, but yeah, it's good shit. But yeah, at some point I need to make my own mead. You know, some sort of honey citrus, nice stuff. It was really sweet, and kind of like a little bit tangy. And it's from a local mead maker. I say local, but it's like in Oregon. And we're not that far from Oregon anyway, so. Rasputin IPA? No, it's, oh, I see the image of it, and it's like a Crowley type of figure. Maybe I'll buy some in the next stream, and you'll see me drink it, and I'll have the, because I think that brewery is in Portland, Oregon. I see the image of it, because yeah, the Crowley type figure is in red, and it's a blue background. Oh, and it bugs me. I can't think of it. But yes, any other questions for the runes? By the way, I wanted to address this. If anybody feels like I get too involved in politics or I spend too much time, I do use that doggus trick. And then when I ground, my way of grounding right now is I'm doing a replay of Final Fantasy X. And it's very nostalgic, and I love that game. And, you know, I've played it so many times as a teenager, I don't have to think about it too much. I just kind of, you know, zone out, I listen to music, and I play through it. Ah, your sister used to be a bartender. I'll have to ask her if she's interested in trying the blackberry mead. Yeah, what is that? That brewery. Waltz? You want me to do a reading on Waltz? Oh, if he gets in trouble. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Seymour. Okay. Waltz. How will this turn out for Waltz? Will he actually face any sort of justice? Oh, Alhis. Okay. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I tried. I like the music. The music is incredible because, that fella from Rune did the music, but it just didn't do it for me. It's slow getting into. Um, but I really enjoyed Assassin's Creed Origins. That was great. But I've tried with Valhalla twice, and I just like it takes too long. And I know I probably sound like somebody that tried to get into Red Dead Redemption 2 but couldn't get past the first chapter and just gave up, because Red Dead Redemption 2 is my favorite game, and when I tell other people about it, they're like, "Oh, I couldn't get past the first chapter. It just takes too long." Well, okay. Anyway, yeah, but the music, I've listened to the soundtrack. It's incredible. Um Yeah, I might try it again at some point, but it'll be a little further down the line. Um but anyway, on Waltz, visualizing him in Fehu because he has been involved with stealing a lot of money. Gabo, okay. Fairly take and fairly give. The gifts. Let's see what happens to those. Is he still going to be getting his money? Or is it going to be, the equilibrium going to come back on him? Twisted Metal? I was playing Twisted Metal in, 1996 when the PlayStation first came out with my brother? Yeah. Okay. In, Uruz. Oh, Wunyo. Okay. Some, joy in the strength or the vitality is still there at this time. Maybe that'll change later in the reading. Let's see. Thurisaz, anything with conflict, strong masculine energy, because Waltz definitely doesn't have that. Righto. Okay, he's on his way to chaos. Yeah, the clown dude, Sweet Tooth, I think his name is. And then there's this guy that just has, wheels attached to his arms, like his name is Axel or something. That was crazy. I think he came out in the third game. Anyway, in Ansu's Odin, Tiwa's, okay, so, we could think of Ansu's as, being a masculine leader, Odin, and Tiwa's, he's not going to, like this, but, the strength, and the judgment is going to come from a masculine figure, so perhaps a judge, either in this life or the next. Tribal Defender, hello! Okay, in Rido, we're talking about Waltz, by the way, I'm doing a reading on Waltz, Tribal. In Rido, we have Dagas. Okay, so Rido has already come up in Thurisaz. And then we have Dagas here, kind of changing the pace of where it's going, where it looks like he's going to get away with it, but things are just going to flip. We're going to see where Kanos is. Oh, Thurisaz. And sometimes when you are biased, you got to make sure to leave that bias behind. But Thurisaz and Kanos, so he's aware of a lot more than he is saying. We all know this. Yeah, I saw that. He was invoking Anne Frank today with the illegals and ICE, and they're trying to uphold the law. Tiwas. They're trying to uphold the law of the land as it is right now. And then Waltz is trying to not do that. He's trying to give these people that hate him, that are just using him, that thinks he's an absolute sucker. Yeah, he knows some really bad shit. He knows some really destructive shit. He's trying to hide it. Doggas and Rido, but doggas can be about hiding things. Disguising. It can be used in magic for that. Not just transformation, but hiding things. That's interesting. Because Rido, we have to remember, was in Thurisaz. We have Thurisaz in Kanaz. Yeah. Putting that together in my mind. Gabo. Okay. Hargalaz. Hargalaz, as Freya says. Oh. So, we had in Fehu, in our reading already, we have Gabo. But what is influencing Gabo? We have Hargalaz. So, his knowledge, the give and take, the gifts that he has gotten for doing these favors for people, it's going to come back on him. This is Hamanya. This is karma that he can't avoid at this point. It's on his way with Tiwaz. Whether he's punished by this current administration, or he's treated to the corpse shore in the afterlife, with the thieves and the rapists and the murderers and the oath breakers, and in Wunyo, because we had Wunyo in Uruz. Oh, we have Uruz in Wunyo. So, yeah, I kind of think that he's putting up a front with this. Yeah, because all the negativity in this reading is really telling. But he is putting up a front for Tampon Tim. Choo choo! Yeah. The poo train, that's hilarious. Exactly, yes, the poo train. Sorry, I spoke right into the beer bottle, and it just echoed, yes, the poo train. Yeah, for Tim Waltz. And then, also, Mayor Frey of Minneapolis, he's aware of all these goings on, too. He's very much aware of the fraud, the waste, and the abuse of not only the government system, but of Medicare, Medicaid, which, brings about its own, legal issues that, they can complain about ICE and what they've done and say to the federal government, oh, you have to pay for any damages. Okay, but all this fraud is just not going to be forgotten about. Hargalaz, this is the goddess Hel, she's not going to forget about this. She's not going to, let you get away from your Hamanya. Waltz's Hamanya, his luck, it's bad. And he's just putting up a front. Perhaps he's, I've seen him in previous interviews where he seems kind of weak, but he's a little bit of a snake. Yet never forget. Yes, exactly. Your Hamanya never forgets. That's for certain. It'll come back to bite you in the ass in unexpected ways. And that's what Hargalaz is, something that's unavoidable, but if you're able to overcome it, you're going to come out stronger. But with the billions in fraud, with these Somalis, and it's probably just not only the Somalis, they probably, when they're investigating the fraud, they're going to find other communities that are going to, be incriminating. He's not going to get away from all these allegations against him. That young Mormon kid that did that investigation. We have to remember all of this shit happened as a result of that kid that I can't even remember his name. I can see his video, I can see the thumbnail, I can hear his voice. Yeah, but it's gonna leave a mark. Hargalaws. Yes, exactly. Yeah, that young man that investigated the Somali fraud went viral. And then all eyes were on Minnesota. And that's not going to go away. I never knew you could eat bananas with rice. I learned a lot that day. I didn't know that either because I don't like bananas. And the only rice that I like is either sushi grade rice, which is, a certain quality that, professional sushi chefs, they have to learn for like 2 years how to make it properly. Or, just basic fried rice. So yeah, bananas and rice. No. No, thank you. Yeah, it's with bananas, it's the smell, the taste, the texture. No. And then you might be wondering, oh, how do you get your potassium? You can get it from salmon, and you can get it from oranges. And I love both oranges and salmon. Yeah, specifically living in the Pacific Northwest, occasionally we'll have friends and neighbors bring us smoked salmon or, fresh salmon. And I know several Norwegian recipes to make salmon really tasty. Plantains and Mexican rice together is good. Yeah, Mexican rice is good. Yeah. And I like to do it with a side of chicken. Just grilled chicken. Chorizo and goat cheese. I grew up in Central Texas, so yeah, my exposure to Mexican food has been different, and all these liberal wankers trying to say, oh, well, if you deport all the illegals, you're not going to be able to eat all this delicious food. Well, you got to remember, the Mexican food that we have, that they call Mexican food, is actually Tex-Mex. It's not, for the most part, it's not authentic. It's Tex-Mex. And then we already have those recipes there. But then, when I say Tex-Mex, I'm referring to, it's kind of like a blend of, of American taste with Mexican food, but then there's always been the Tejanos there in Texas. You got to remember the certain percentage of Mexicans that have been in the United States since those states were annexed. They were already there. Goat cheese. Oh, Brunost. The brown cheese. The Norwegian brown cheese is good. I love that. Taco Bell. I actually had Taco Bell today. It was okay, but I can actually cook better tacos than Taco Bell now. And it's just like, but we got two chalupas and a grilled stuffed burrito, and it was like $21. Real Mexicans eat beans and drink Fanta. Give me the Tex-Mex. Taco Bell bean burritos. There's this gal, and her channel's called Dollar Tree Dinners. She used to be a chef, or not a chef, but a cook. at Taco Bell, and she actually explains how to make Taco Bell dishes, and especially like the discontinued ones, like which one? 7-layer burrito. And what she explains how to make a couple of others. So yeah, check out Dollar Tree dinners, and she actually explains how to make those. Chalupa, I love that word. Yeah, they charge big money for those now. Like for 2 of them, it was $13 and something odd cents, and I was just like, I was flabbergasted. But we only go to Taco Bell like maybe 4 times a year. It's pretty rare because like it's always busy. Okay, just hopped on. Why do you think paganism has gotten so popular lately? Seems like it has blown up a lot in the last year. Yeah, it has. With a lot of people realizing what Christianity is and how Christianity is influenced by Zionism as much as they don't want to be, they are. And it's, a return, kind of a mentality of connecting with your ancestors of what they were before they were Christian, before Christianity was forced upon them. So a lot of people are going back to ancestral pagan paths, and now's the best time, really. We have the progression of Pluto into Aquarius, leaving Capricorn. There's some astrological truth in that, where Capricorn is kind of a controlling energy and Aquarius is kind of a freeing energy. So we've got that going on. And then some astrologers will rant about the age of Aquarius because we were in the age of Pisces, which was very much associated with the sacrificed god. We're heading into the age of Aquarius, where it's more enlightened period. But you also have to remember, with Pluto in Aquarius, that far left fascism can arise from the Aquarian mindset. Okay. Let's see. Taco Bell is fire. Yeah, it is. And Taco Bell, yes, used to be cheap. Yes, I miss those days. I miss being, when I was younger, it was either Taco Bell was open, or I was in Texas, Whataburger was open. And yeah, if you didn't have a lot of money after, the bar, you'd go to Taco Bell. But if you actually had money, you go to Whataburger. And Whataburger, they serve, breakfast from 11 p.m. to 11 a.m. Breakfast taquitos or honey mustard chicken biscuits. Those were good. Anyway, it's real. People are sick of the fake shit. Yep. I think there's more pagan outreach by practicing pagans on social media like YouTube. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it used to be such a small community. We used to all be kind of aware of each other, but now it's kind of blown up because I know that there was that increase in paganism in 2020 when people were on lockdown. Okay, so a lot of those girls just kind of dabbled with crystals and tarot, and then they went to go find Jesus. But it was just, it wasn't a serious thing for them, and they were just practicing witchcraft instead of just being pagan. Where, witchcraft is a practice, it's not a religion. And I consider myself, a pagan witch. I do both. But let's see here. The fish and foot washing age is ending. Time to party. Yes, exactly. Your channel is awesome. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Brad. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. I try hard here. Make sure you hit that like button. I remember the Taco Bell 59-cent and 79-cent and 99-cent menu. Oh, that's a long time ago. I only do fast food once a year. Mostly because every time I go stop to drive through, the line is backed up past the parking lot. Exactly. That's why I only go to Taco Bell like maybe 4 times a year, because there's only one around me and it just takes forever to get through because you're behind somebody, and everybody should know what they want when they go to fast food. But you get behind somebody that can't make up their mind and you're stuck behind them for like 10 minutes and it's ridiculous. It's fast food. They got tacos, burritos, and that's pretty much it, and they have quesadillas if you're feeling fancy, Mountain Dew Baja Blast, which is delicious. Anyway, I found Jesus in a Where's Waldo book. Oh. I used to love Where's Waldo. Those were my favorite as a kid. Yeah, you didn't have phones back in the day. You had Where's Waldo, and then like they had knockoff books for Disney of find all the different Disney characters. I actually have one of those books. I gave it to my son, of The Lion King. And yeah. Let's see here. Mexican pizza. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, what I do now is sometimes I will make what I call my Goy Slop nachos, where I will take Cool Ranch Doritos, and I'll cook up some ground beef, put taco seasoning on there, and then I put the ground beef on the Doritos, and then I put a bunch of cheese on top, whatever cheese I have, like either it's the Mexican cheese, okay, and I put in the oven at 350 for about 5 minutes or until the cheese melts, and then I'll put sour cream on top when it's done. The family loves it. But anyway, I feel ideologically homeless because I'm not Christian or woke. Yeah, exactly. I feel politically homeless because the left and the right, there's not a good place for pagans at this time. But yeah, I know how you feel in that regard. I've been pagan for nearly 20 years. It's going to be 20 years in this December, actually. And I did start out paganism, and probably woke wasn't a thing 20 years ago, but I would consider that being woke now what I was, but now I'm not that. I mean, yeah. You can only walk on water if it's frozen. And yeah, then you have a chance of falling through. That's not good either. You don't want to fucking fall through. Yeah, and wind up in a frozen. But that is a funny analogy. Yeah, exactly. I'm the same. I lean right in many things, but I'm also pro-choice and Wiccan. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I lean right, conservative on a lot of things. Sometimes, very few things I lean to the left on, and not far left, but just general Democrat. I have been Wiccan in the past. Now I consider myself to just be pagan, pagan witch, where, I worship the Norse pantheon, as you see, and also the Egyptian pantheon. I have my Egyptian altar in the other room because I don't mix pantheons. That's pretty much a rule for a lot of pagans, although I do see some pagans breaking that rule. I mean, you gotta kind of think of our ancestors and look in the history of their pantheons. Some of their pantheons are mixed, like they would bring in other gods. And you kind of have to look at like the Aussie and the Vanir, because where did the Vanir come from? That's obviously a historical tale, as well as mythological, where the Vanir were fertility gods, and the Aesir were war gods. Anyway, I don't want Europe's healthcare system. Neither do I. And yeah, those lines that they have in the ERs there, or even Canada's healthcare system where they tell you to end your own life if you're depressed. Yeah, fuck that shit. Sneeko played a song that offended a certain group. Now he's banned from every restaurant club in Miami. I don't know which song that is, but I kind of know who Sneeko is, and I can kind of put two and two together. Let's see here. That's what I love about this branch. We're so diverse in our beliefs and accepting of each other's. Yeah, exactly. No, I have to know. I gotta know what Sneeko, what did Sneeko play? Hold on. What did Sneeko play? I'm sorry, what? Oh, you do want Europe's healthcare. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I didn't see that. But you might want to rethink that. To be honest, I'm not trying to be mean, but the lines that I've heard people have to deal with in Europe's healthcare system, or their wait time, and we have them here in America, but let's see here. Yeah, I actually am. Let's see here. Oh, they paid Kanye West's song about the Austrian painter. Okay, I see. Yeah, although one thing I would like for American healthcare, and Trump's kind of doing it, but I'm not too sure if I like the way Trump's doing it, because I don't trust him in that regard, because he doesn't know enough about the healthcare system. Lowering drug prices, that definitely needs to happen, because we are paying way too much for something like insulin, and we have all these coupons for certain drugs, if they're brand name, and then like brand name manufacturers, they have a monopoly on the brand name for a certain number of years. For like 7 years, they're allowed to keep the copyright, basically, of the recipe from these generic manufacturers, and then they have to release them. Well, now they're extending them past that 7-year mark, to ridiculous times, like 10 years, or, sometimes, depending on the drug, 30 years. And that's just insane. And they're claiming, it's to recoup the research prices. Well, y'all are getting all sorts of funding from governments across the world to research drugs anyway. Speaking of the fraud, waste, and abuse, the drug companies are full of fraud, waste, and abuse, and the shaking of hands behind doors, the corruption. Oh, yeah. Let's see here. 27 years since I became a witch this year. We have the same thing. It's just controlled by insurance companies instead of the government. Yeah, your 4K meds for your autoimmune condition is $89 in Europe. Yeah, that's messed up. Yeah, because we shouldn't be, because what it sounds like is that we foot the bill for the rest of the world to get the same drugs. And it's ridiculous. And then, the entire medical industrial complex. I talk about the military industrial complex on this channel. I talk about the religious industrial complex, like Christianity, on this channel. And now the medical industrial complex, the billing of something like furosemide, Lasix. It's a common water pill. if you're retaining water. The hospital will bill your insurance something absurd, like $40 for furosemide, when furosemide is just a drug that is older than the hills on your grandmother's chest. And it barely costs, maybe 10 cents to make in India. So yeah, absolutely freaking ridiculous. That's just one example. But yeah, the drugs for autoimmune disease, for insulins, epilepsy meds, yeah, and anything. What else am I thinking? Oh, inhalers. It's also ridiculous. And what, there was a price gouging on epinephrine a couple of years ago. That was absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, that's my medical industrial complex rant. And yeah, it's on every level of medicine that you can think of. The doctor's offices, the pharmacies, the insurances, the hospitals, the government, and of course, going back to the drug companies. For all its faults, I'm glad you have VA. Oh, well, that's good. Yeah, veterans assistance. Yeah, some people I know have had absolutely horrible experiences with the VA, and then other people are just like, oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah. And you're like, of all the people, I've known multiple veterans. And by the way, thank you for your service. But yeah, at least you have the VA. But yeah. And then why I know so much about the medical industrial complex is my late father was an oncologist, and he really did educate me quite a bit on it. In how deep it goes, because 15 years ago we were supposed to have a cure for breast cancer, and we don't. And he knew people on the inside that said, oh, we're real close. But of course, there's more money in milking people to donate to these cancer foundations, like that Susan G. Corman cure thing turned out to be a big scam. But anyway, TRICARE is great insurance. Yeah, I've heard good things about TRICARE. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I'm new to the faith and want to represent the best I can. I was happy to find normal pagans like yourself, since there are a lot of far left. Exactly. X is a great resource for finding like-minded pagans like myself and yourself. Stay away from Instagram. You can find some on Instagram, but you have to dig. You can find someone on Facebook, but you gotta dig. You might want to check out Thomas Sheridan. He's a good resource for just general paganism. He's Irish. Let's see here. Who else can I think of? You can also remember Styx Stexenhammer. He's also pagan. If you're not already watching him. Anyway. I wished we could go back to plant-based medicines like our pagan ancestors. They had it right. Yes, they did. What type of pagan are you and why? And what are some of your favorite gods? So I would just consider myself a general pagan, but I worship the Norse and Egyptian pantheon. My favorite god of the Egyptian pantheon would be Horus, and favorite goddess would be Nephthys and Isis. And then of the Norse pantheon, Odin, Frigga, Freya, and Sif and Ir. Those are my favorite gods, and of course Thor, and Njord. a lot of Norse gods are my favorite. I have trouble picking a favorite. I'm sorry, but once you start to learn about the gods, you start worshiping them, offering to them. You find that you have many favorites because they help you in certain ways. The Cancer Industrial Complex. Yes. I was just going to recommend him. Yes. Odin is a harsh but honest god. Frigg is comforting and warm. Exactly. The first time I did a meditation and connected to Odin, this is several years ago, he called me lazy. So there you go. I have to go to bed. Early to work tomorrow. Thank you, Sigrún. Oh yeah, thank you for coming by. How would you compare the pagan concept of gods and worship to the Christian concept? Well, with the Christian concept, it depends on the denomination, but I was mostly raised and influenced around Protestant, which means the Baptists for me, and then evangelicals, where either God is loving but then punishing, and God knows anything and he could do no wrong, but then once you start to point out inconsistencies with the Bible, you see how bad it is, and then you see how Christians behave. It just points it out even that much more that this isn't a good God to follow. As far as the pagan concepts of gods go, either you're some people are soft polytheists where the gods are metaphors for nature and for human behavior, or you're a hard polytheist, which you really believe in the gods, which I would consider myself to be a hard polytheist. And I see the gods as not only being sacred and guides for us, but also our friends and our guardians and our protectors. But they also correct us when we're wrong. But they don't make people necessarily do evil things and act in horrible ways, because paganism is as much about self-control and taking accountability. Pagans, we take accountability. We don't blame our bad behavior on a devil. Paganism, there's a place for gods that appear a little darker, like Set of the Egyptian pantheon, being associated with war, foreigners, and chaos. And then there's a place for Loki, in the Norse pantheon. As much as he hurt the other gods, he also gave the other gods gifts and corrected his mistakes. But let me view these rest. Oh, I like Loki quite a bit. I empathize with him. He's very similar to the Abrahamic Christ, constantly ostracized and blamed for things. Yes, very much. I like the Twilight Zone episode where the alien comes to Earth with a book that has the cure for cancer, but the locals are afraid of him. My husband would have known what you're talking about. He loves the Twilight Zone. I don't watch it. Cat goddess for the cat lady. Yeah, Freya and Bast and Sekhmet. Was your transition to paganism easy or hard? It was easy, I would say, but I think that came from I was Christian, then I was atheist, and then I was pagan. And going from believing in no gods to believing in many gods, I don't know, it was just like I had a traumatic breakup with a boyfriend years ago, and that kind of I needed to heal. I was 19 years old at the time, so I found paganism, and it just worked for me. It explained a lot of things because I had already been studying paganism in the mythology for years prior to that. Anyway. All things worth doing are hard. Exactly, yeah. When things are hard, you get the best results. The gods reward us for our hard work and our hard efforts. And they're not instant. They could be down the line. You know, you can't expect everything to come to you instantly. You know, especially like with money. With money magic and paganism, money is considered connected to Earth, and Earth is very slow moving. Anywho. Oh. But, you know, with coming into paganism as a newbie, it can be overwhelming because there's so much information. I really do suggest you learn about a pantheon of gods that you kind of are familiar with or have a little bit of interest in. You learn about those gods, and when you're reading about them, one's going to jump out at you, really catch your attention. And that's going to be the first god that you need to be worshipping and offering to. Yes, the gods and goddesses reward greatness and want you to be the best version of yourself. That's perfect. Yes, exactly. I feel the same way. It's, you know, there's a line in the, it's a Wiccan ritual, the Raymond Buckland ritual, where the gods help only those who help themselves. And that resounds very clearly with pagans. If I unintentionally do something wrong and get called out on it, I work to correct it, not pray for it to go away. Exactly, yes. Yeah, the gods will reward you for that. Or you can even ask the gods, you know, through divination. You know, I got the rune cards here, or rune stones, you know, astrology, tarot. You can ask the gods through that what you need to do to fix something if you're just totally just lost on what to do. You know, sometimes we are dum-dums and we do need help. Life is good if you don't weaken. Yeah. Yeah, the gods like us to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be. And I think when I first connected to Odin all those years ago and he called me lazy, I wasn't being the best version of myself. And now that I'm putting myself more out there, guiding other pagans, Odin has definitely come back, and I feel his presence a lot more, which is, you know, it's pretty good. You know, Odin, he comes into your life as a very strong but esoteric presence of, you know, he's a god associated with wisdom, and the runes, and, yeah, he sets you on the right path, and he wants you to be the best version of yourself. Oh, I got into European paganism to connect with my European heritage. I was told that I was racist. I know. Initially, years ago, before I got involved with the Norse pantheon, I was afraid to, because I was afraid of being called racist. But people that call you racist will always think you're racist. You can't, like, undo their mindset. You know, their far left mindset. And, you know, you just have to ignore them and do your own thing. Because they're just jerks to begin with. I mean, and then also, on the other hand, if you worship a pantheon of gods that are not your ancestors, they'll accuse you of cultural appropriation. You know, years ago, I haven't been accused of this lately, but years ago when I was doing videos on the Egyptian pantheon, I'd get messages saying that oh, you're not Egyptian, you shouldn't be doing this. And it's just like, pick a side, and just do what you think is right. And the gods, they're going to tell you if they want you worshiping them or not. You got to tap into your intuition and what other people say. I kind of think about that one scene from the first Ghostbusters movie where they finally encounter Gozer on top of the pyramid, and she takes the form of a woman, and she says, "Are you a god?" "No." "Then die." So yes, exactly. Let's see here. Vidar, it's not racist. Your gods and your ancestors are with you always and love you. Love them back. Exactly. Your pre-Christian ancestors are so happy you're returning to your ancestral gods, because a lot of them didn't have a choice. They either had to convert or die. That's something that is very important. Is it true that types of European pagans are like 80% the same? Lots of parallels and overlaps in similar characters, stories, and themes. Yeah, comparative mythology, especially with Greek and Norse, is very common. Some call it pan-European faith. You might want to look into. Yeah, I mean, comparative mythology is a hobby for a lot of people. And channels like Survive the Jive, he talks a lot about that. And if you haven't watched Survive the Jive, watch him. And then also another good one, and by the way, Survive the Jive and this other channel, they politically are on the same side, similar ideas as to us, but Survive the Jive is English. And then this next channel I'm going to bring up is Norse Magick and Belief. He's Norwegian. Watch him. He does great stuff. But anyway, yeah, it's complicated. Most is lost, but for the most part, yes, they are very similar. Yes, yeah. I love comparative mythology, and I could talk about it all day because I can actually pull examples from Norse paganism to even Egyptian paganism, because the Egyptians had a similar idea of the moon and the sun to the Norse, where in the Norse cosmos, the moon is masculine and the sun is feminine. Well, in the Egyptian, the moon is masculine as well, but the sun can be feminine and masculine, because there's Ra, there's Sekhmet, there's Isis. There's no limit to which god is kind of connected or influenced or is associated with the sun, because you got to remember, Egypt is a desert, so the sun is just there all the time. Anyway, I was happy to see you defend paganism. I think it's good not to play victim, but also to stand up for ourselves. Yeah, I mean, we can talk about how we've, had shit thrown at us, and it's good to share our stories of how Christians have been shitty to us, because it's kind of, it gets it off of our chest, and it allows us to rant about it and share about the experience. I'll share my stories, other people will share their stories, we kind of rant, we vent, we feel better after it. We build friendships, we let off some steam, we have a little humor in between, it's all good and well. Anyway, let's see here. To hear you say that my ancestors are happy with me returning to the faith lets me know that I'm on the right path. Yay! It hit me deep and means a lot. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can tap into your ancestors at any time too if you want to do meditation, past life meditation. It's as simple as just take me back. And tapping into your ancestral line. And then, if you are into doing like ancestry DNA, you can also tap into to that. Jason Laveau has a great channel. I haven't seen that. They stand with you now, brother. You are never alone. Your ancestors live in your blood heart. Yes, exactly. And they're, we may not all go to Valhalla. Okay, that's all good and well. We're not all warriors that are going to die in battle. Okay. Helheim, that is where our ancestors are for the most part. And they have, the holes there in Helheim. It's just the outside that's freezing cold. But on the inside, it's full of your ancestors, in the halls. You're going to be surrounded by your family of, I kind of believe that those who weren't very devout Christians, they will be there in those halls in Helheim with, your ancestors. And so, you'll be surrounded by your ancestors. And then there are some who believe that you can be reincarnated through your ancestral line, especially if you are named, if somebody names you after one of your ancestors. One of your ancestors is reborn into you. So, yeah. Alrighty. Yes, and Norse paganism, the moon is Mani and the sun is Suna, yes. Yes, the love of the ancestors, yeah, exactly. I mean, I know it's kind of a meme at this point, but a lot of women, when they put spices into their food, they do listen to their ancestors until they say, no, that's enough, child. No, no, that's real, that's true. They actually do that. At least that's who I listen to when I pour in the Worcestershire sauce into any type of beef I'm cooking, because I love that. Ooh. And garlic. I love garlic. But yeah, if as far as Norse paganism goes, there's different paths. You can just focus on learning about the Norse gods, or get into too much salt. Yeah. You can learn about the gods. You can study the Havamal, the prose and poetic Edda, the sagas. There's a lot to go off of. The runes, do rune magic, rune divination like I did this evening. There's a lot of substance in Norse paganism. And that's, kind of why I'm always drawn to it, because I do feel my ancestors in there as well. I look forward to learning more about paganism. To be honest, I wish we had the thing, I wish we had the things the Abrahamics face do. One, Bible, strong debaters, strong apologist organizers, and structure. Oh, we do. Speaking of that, I gotta find his page. Let's see here, and I'm gonna share his channel. Hammer and Raya. Let's see here, where is his YouTube? Because he actually has a video about pagan apologetics. Let's see here. Check out his channel. He's actually a friend of mine. Yeah, he does pagan apologetics, and he actually wrote a book about pagan apologetics. But as far as a holy book, the closest thing that we have for Norse pagans is the Havamal. Rules to live by, but it's not like a replacement Bible. It's not like commandments, but it's just like advice. But one thing I do wish that pagans had that Christians have is churches, because you look at your local town, how many churches are in your town right now? And the Christians like to say, oh, we're oppressed. Oh, no. Oh, We poor Christians. But y'all have churches everywhere. And they like to complain and say, oh, well, those are Catholics. They're not real Christian. Oh, hey, Episcopalian? Oh, no. Oh, Mormons? Oh, my goodness, no. Yeah. But they have the option. You know, with pagans, yeah, you kind of have to be careful about which groups that you're joining to either make sure that they're not like a far leftist group that are just using paganism. And you got to make sure it's not an actual cult that actually crops up sometimes. But, you know, pagans are still, you know, a minority amongst religious groups, although we are growing, which is always good. But yeah, yeah, Hammer and Raya, he has a very good channel. Yes, the Havamal, yes, very much relates to life today. I actually have one of the stanzas on my bedside. It's about, yeah, the lazy wolf doesn't get the lamb. You get out of bed. I can't remember it exactly, but it's right there on my bedside to, you know, so I don't just sit there in bed and just scroll on my phone. No, I get up and get stuff done. I have a couple of Christian friends that have discussions and debate with. I noticed that they are addicted to certainty and black and white, yes and no, all or nothing. Exactly. Yeah, with paganism, you do have to have kind of a philosopher's mindset of not having all the answers, but being able to kind of look into them. With Christianity, yeah, it's for low IQ. People that want easy answers that are just right there. Oh, we have a mosque and the ATC in my neck of the woods. Oh. Are you an index? Because we've actually been to ATC. This was years ago. Because I know where ATC's home temple is. And my husband actually met Pete Pathfinder Davis years ago. Yeah. I said nature is my church, and my fiercely Christian mother said she hopes I go to the leaves and no place else. I know what she meant by that. Oh, strong and loving, lots of truth in the Havamal, very similar to Corinthians in the Abrahamic Bible. Oh. But yeah, yeah, Seymour, if you're in around Index or that area and there's a mosque out there, because that place, the road going up there is just absolutely beautiful. You know, Gold Bar, Monroe, well, not so much Monroe, but like past Monroe, it's really pretty. You know, go up in the mountains, your ears pop. And, you know, it's going up towards Leavenworth. And for those of you who aren't in Washington State, Leavenworth is kind of, you can Google it. It's a tourist town, but it's German-based, Bavarian-based. And you can actually get German beer there and, you know, bratwurst. And there's, you know, a little store there. I'm not sure if it's still there, but that has German music boxes. And I grew up with one of those, you know, the old-fashioned wooden music box that's really big, German songs on the inside. But yeah, I'll let a couple more questions come through. Boy, this stream is nearly 2 hours. It's fine. I started it early because I wanted to catch some people on the East Coast for once. I know it's still, geez, it's nearly nearly 10, yeah, so it'd nearly be 1 a.m. over there on the East Coast. I'm on the West Coast, so I'm kind of, yeah, the time zones over here are screwy. Yeah. Oh, German beer. Oh, and brats, sauerkraut, okra. Now I mentioned I grew up in Texas, but there's a large German American population. Because when Texas first became a state, or I think when Texas became its own country, more German was spoken than English. And there's like towns like New Braunfels where, they have Oktoberfests. And tasty. Tasty, tasty, tasty. Yeah, I love, German food. Oh. Yeah. Brats, beets, potatoes, and the sauerkraut and the okra. Oh. Yeah, I actually had a friend growing up, and her mother was from Stuttgart. And the father was in the military, but very much West Texan accent. And hearing him speak German with a West Texas accent is a total trip. I can't repeat it because I can't duplicate it. But yeah, very entertaining. You learn some German very passively in that situation. What would you say pagans practice day to day? What effect does it have on you? Sorry. And what effect does it have on day-to-day life? Well, day-to-day, I do offerings, just incense, or, when you do an offering, I do, offer incense and I bow, offer, a drink, of, ale, IPA, whatever you got, to offer to the gods. That's what daily, paganism looks like, and I do include divination in daily, I just don't do it on streams, and when I also practice witchcraft, okay, rune witchcraft, so I am constantly, if a situation calls for it, projecting runes or drawing runes in the air, visualizing them, in red. I'm doing the Alhis rune for protection. When we're driving, Sowilo for victory, Rido for success, along with Sowilo, but Rido, I do project a lot of runes when I'm driving, just to protect the vehicle. I'm drunk and you're making me very hungry. I've got to make eggs. Make an omelet. A ham and cheese omelet. If you don't have any good ham, bologna is a very good salty thing that you could put in your omelet. Now, cheese, bologna, little salty bits in an omelet. I don't mean to make you hungry. Okay. Well, yeah, it's been 2 hours. I think I'm going to end the stream right now. Thank you all so much for coming by. No ham and cheese. That's not any fun. You gotta have cheese. Yeah, I mean, even if it's just cheap cheese, you gotta stock cheese. I always got cheese in my... I don't have vegetables. I have frozen vegetables. But, the drawer in my refrigerator that's meant for vegetables, I have just cheese. I'm heading off to bed. Thanks and have a good night. Well, thank you. And, yeah, I'm glad to have helped you. Yeah, New Braunfels is where Schlitterbahn Park is. Yes, I would love to go there someday. Have a wonderful night. Schlitterbahn. Okay. We're gonna, before I end the stream, just a moment. I know about Schlitterbahn. It's the hottest, coolest time in Texas. And this video, commercial. what is it, like, do they have the old commercial? Yes, they do. I hope this is it. Yes, it is. Okay. Hold on.
Now we headed down to Schlitterbahn.
We like to keep it cool in the summertime. Just
Oh, this is a new one.
we go
Big time.
still the one and only classic.
The depressed children outside their little baby pool.
Schlitterbahn New Braunfels. Open daily through September 4th and weekends through September 17th.
It was, the old commercial was better because the children were singing the Schlitterbahn theme song of the hottest, coolest time in Texas. Come play. Because they couldn't go to Schlitterbahn. Their parents wouldn't take them and they were depressed. Maybe I've got some craft singles. I love these and I care deeply for the chat. I wish you all the best. Yes! By the way, funny how Christians say Jesus is so powerful, but when they're scared of curses, Jesus can't protect you from a curse. Always full of contradictions. Yeah, exactly. Unless you're Catholic and they believe, you know, the Catholic priests and the Exorcist. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they panic when they hear somebody's a witch. And they do the copium and say, you can't affect me. I have Jesus. I have God on my side and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I get that constantly. But anyway, yes, thank you all so much for coming by. And, yeah, have a good night. Until next time, hail the gods.